Hello, Anthony Coulam. It's a pleasure to meet you. Great to have you here on the 1 Minute Barber Premium Community. And the whole purpose of these little podcasts is just to meet each other and find out a little bit about what led you into barbering. So, and I know that your story is a bit different because you've come to it quite late and you've moved from another career. So
Rude. I'm only 24.
me too. Me too. But so tell us what's the path then, Anthony? Tell us a bit. No, in fact, tell us a bit about yourself, and then give us a bit of the path into barbering.
Yeah, no problem. It's I was in a job that I quite liked. I was in telecoms and worked my way up from being an engineer into sort of junior middle management kind of position. And we built fibre optic cities. So the last project was a 5-year project in Bournemouth, supplying the whole of the residential area with fibre optic cables. Anyway, that came to a close and I was made redundant. And I had a little bit of sort of time to reflect on life and things. And really, it occurred to me that although I didn't mind the job, it didn't really make me happy. I could do it. I was competent. It was okay, but it didn't really tickle my box. So I thought, well, I've got hopefully 20, maybe 25 years of work left in me, and kind of came to the conclusion that it's not too late. I'm not too old. So I thought, what do I like doing? I like working with my hands. I like people. I'm fairly creative in things that I did, and sort of thought about it. You know, sometimes when you just an idea comes and you go, yeah, that'd be great. I think I'd love that. And that's what happened with barbering. So I signed up for a 3-month course at an academy in Bournemouth called Mint, and they were absolutely amazing. Very sort of trendy setting, but excellent tuition. And there was 6 of us in total, so I did that. Realised after the first couple of sessions that I hadn't made a mistake and made a fool of myself. Was going to make a fool of myself. Completed the course, joined the 1 Minute Barber Society as well, which has been absolutely amazing. I can't thank you for organising it. It's been just not just yourself, although you are very obviously pinnacle in everything that happens around it, but the whole community has been fantastic. And the way the school app works is just really helpful and encouraging, certainly for somebody like myself who's not a youngster and might have those doubts creeping in about, I'm making a mistake, am I too old for this? But it's been great, absolutely fantastic.
The app's very intuitive, and like over the platform, the last few years I've made a couple of courses for Udemy, and then I started making member-only content for YouTube. But both of them like leave this gap where you can't really effectively interact with students. You can give them the content, and you can have a few messages backwards and forwards, but you can't see the work that they're doing, and you can't have you can't have live stuff on YouTube, but you can't message each other. Whereas the school platform is much more like Facebook, and you interact much closer with each other, and I prefer that. I can actually see what people are doing, and they can give me really good feedback, and it's easier to help people, I think, in this platform.
I think as well, especially in barbering, it's such a tactile industry. Your hands on one hair. Well, as I'm starting to learn, one haircut is very much different to the next one, even if they both want a skin fade.
That's right.
And it's.
I don't know if did you tune into Coffee with Mike earlier? I don't know if you watched.
I didn't have a chance.
So I was just saying that in the Coffee with Mike, right? So like, there's 180,000 hairs on your head, and every time that's cut, there's no way it's going to be the same. There's going to be minute differences in every single haircut, and then you scale that across all your different clients and all your different hair types. There's not like a generic haircut that's it. That's the perfect haircut. You need to learn so many different skills on the same haircut. You
Yeah.
know, like for instance, my haircut, you might get used to that, and then a guy comes in, he has the same thing as me, but he has a double crown,
Yeah.
or he has a nape whorl or something, and then that adds a complexity. But then maybe you do that same thing on 5 different hair types, you know, and
No.
or you have, I mean, I'm 6'1". A lot of people don't notice, but I'm thinning a little bit, and
The
then
camera
you're
hides it
trying
well.
to deal with thinning and the different ways in which you can kind of retain hair, and the more you go into it, the more you learn. And I'll tell you what, I mean, just going back to your stage, when I was at that point in my career, I think I worked in this conveyor belt barber shop for about 2 years, and I left there and I thought I knew it all. You know, like I opened my own shop and I thought, I know it all. I've got it cracked. I know exactly how to cut hair. And for a few years, I was doing quite well, but started getting more involved in the industry, going to a lot of events, and then I realized I actually knew nothing. You know, because it's so vast. It's just unbelievable what there is to learn. I still learn every day. You know, I go and try and find good information. So
Definitely, it feeds a passion.
okay.
I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like working is my hobby almost. It's um it's interesting because exactly like you said, the same haircut on a different person is a different haircut. It's interesting because where I am now is I finished the course and I went to a local barbershop that is what I would consider a traditional barbershop. So no appointments necessary. It's got very much an Americano kind of feel to it with its decor and branding. And the guy that owns it's got a couple of other shops in the Southampton area, all of the same brand. And I sent you a question when I was watching one of your Q&As saying that I've arranged a meeting with the guy that owns these shops tomorrow. What advice could you give me? He said, look, just go in, show your passion for the industry and that you want to learn. And I fully understand that, although I've got a piece of paper that says I've got a diploma from Min Barbershop Academy, that's just taught me how to use scissors and clippers. And that's no disrespect to them, but I know full well that the next 6 months, the next 12 months, the next 18 months, I'm going to be continually honing and growing and trying to develop myself. Yeah. And I went in there and I had a chat with the guy, and he literally said, come in tomorrow, let's see what you've got. And that was about 3 weeks ago now, and I'm going in every day, and I love it.
Yeah, I think I love that. I just love a success story, and also what you said there about you accept that the next 6 months is going to be you're still learning, because what you've picked up so far, you have to apply now to all these different heads, and like I was saying there, so say you've had, like, I don't know, 50 to 100 heads. You're still going to get a black swan come in with the most wild head, and you're like, right, how do I take what I've been learning here and apply it, because I've never seen this before? And
definitely, and I'm still in that early stage where I know how to do this. It's a scissor cut. I know take petitions, do this, but I fumble through it. I get a good result, and it's probably not commercially speedy enough, but the client is happy with the haircut at the end. But just knowing how to do something certainly doesn't give way for the experience of actually doing it.
Well, like going back to when I was at that stage, so I did a year in college, and then I went into a barbershop, and it was like, whoa, look at the speed these people are working at.
Yeah.
And I felt quite nervous and under pressure initially, but just the repetition, you keep repeating the same moves over and over to the point that it really becomes quite normal. And you're like, say, for instance, like the sectioning, you'll get that nailed to the point that it's very quick, but I wouldn't rush to be quick about it. I wouldn't try to be as quick as possible. Just make sure every time it's perfect. And eventually, I mean, I suppose you would like it to your, when you do drive, Anthony.
I do.
Yeah, right. So when you do your driving lessons, they tell you to, like, feed the wheel, and then once you pass your test, you've got a hand on the wheel, and everything goes out the window, and you drive in your own style.
Yeah.
And I think, once you get all the techniques nailed, you'll eventually start falling into your own style of cutting, where you feel comfortable and you move through your moves, and you'll actually come up with your own type of cutting. You'll see things that you just have good ideas. You'll think, hey, that what I did there works just particularly on this one client, and you might find another client in 6 months' time has the same difficulty with their hair.
Yeah.
Have you had any hair yet that you find extremely difficult, or Asian hair or anything like that yet? Or
the biggest challenge, let's call it a challenge, that I've had, and it was purely down to my equipment, was that I had white combs, which I used through the academy, and I did my first mature gentleman cut, and he also had very white hair. And the biggest challenge I found was as I was pulling the comb through to cut, especially when I was trying to do scissor over comb, I couldn't see the difference in the comb and hair. I couldn't see my guidelines. So went out and bought a black set of combs as well. So I've got contrasting colours now for whoever's sitting in the chair.
That does help, actually. I have a bunch of different coloured combs. When I was doing video for a long time, I just used like a carbon comb or a black comb, and after a while I noticed comments popping up saying, people asking me, will I use a different comb because I can't see the hair? And actually, when I look back, you can't see it. So different colour. I have a range of different coloured combs. Red's a really good one because it works for every hair colour.
I think we need a rainbow, really, don't we? The full range.
Listen, you never have enough barber equipment. You need heaps of it.
This is so true. Being a man in his early 50s and having had disposable cash, it's like golf or fishing. And somebody will always come out, I need one of those. I need to build my collection of clippers and scissors. I bought a set of 7-inch scissors the other day. Nice. And I've been using those. I'm like, I could buy the cheap ones, but they won't last. So I talked myself into going something a bit more expensive.
What did you get?
Got Matsui.
Right.
Got plug there.
Let's have a look. They're in there.
No, they're in there. I've left them in the shop. But they're really good, actually. There was a big discount on them, and they threw in a texturizing razor handle as well, which I know you love.
I love the texturizer razor. Yeah,
I've not had the confidence to use it yet, but I was pleased with that.
I think I might do. So I've got a model head for doing the mannequin maneuvers, but I might. I don't
know if you can see.
I see it in the background. I can see you've got one there.
There it is.
Maybe the same one, actually.
Yeah, I think they're quite standard. That one's Jorge. I had another one, but it had lighter skin that was George. My 19-year-old decided to call that one Jorge because he's got a bit more of a sun-kissed look about him.
The only difficulty with the model heads is that they thread the hair so strongly in one direction sometimes, and there is one that I've bought before that has the hair coming forward. But the majority of them have the hair threaded to go backwards, which is okay. You can still cut a style. But I think for fun, we should I'm going to sacrifice a model head with the razor one night, and we'll just we'll go through a whole range of razor techniques because I love the razor. It's like the most fun tool. I think it's like the Jedi's lightsaber. It's just so versatile. When you're cutting hair, you can do so much with it. Your hair, because it's curly, and it's so curly, probably is the hair that you would avoid with a razor because you can make a lot of frizz in the hair if you razor it.
Something I don't need is texture.
No. You're just blessed with natural curls.
Yeah, well, I've had a personal disaster over the past couple of days. So my beard was probably twice as long as it is now, and it's got a lot of white in it, and I had a lot of white in it, and I thought I'd like to dye it. I want a big, strong copper ginger beard. So I bought one of the off-the-shelf hair dye for men, and it was a beard, a moustache one, and it was meant to be light brown, and it was applied, and it was a big beard, and there wasn't quite enough in the 2 tubes, and washed it off and realised there was no way I could go to work the next day looking like
Was it
that.
half coloured?
It was awful. It was meant to be a similar colour to up top, but it was like a really dark brown. And my partner had some ginger hair dye where she dyed her recently, so we then put that over the top to try and cover it up. And that didn't seem to work either. So out came the clippers and clipped it down. And then because there was a straight line, pretty much as straight as a glass's handle of orange dye and natural hair colour, it looked like, remember rhubarb and custard sweets? It was
Yes.
like real contrast like that. So all right, I'm going to fade the beard in, and then I thought I'm going to have to fade the hair out, and then I thought I'm going to have to do the whole back and side. So sat in the garden and cut my hair by ear, basically.
Well, I always cut my own hair as well now. So ever since COVID, I haven't had a barber cut my hair since COVID, and just do it myself.
Interesting question. How, if you were to go to a barber's and they say in the chair and the small talk, oh, what do you do for a living? As a barber, do you say, oh, I'm a barber? Or do you, oh, no, I paint houses or something? Do you let them know that you're in the industry?
Yeah, I think I probably would. It would make that, but it does make them feel nervous that, I've had a lot of barbers work with me over the years that have their own shops now. So if I was going to go somewhere, I'd go to them because they know me and it's much more kind of laid back. There would be no worry, and it's not like my hair's anything special now. But when I was on holiday last year, we were in Turkey, and I walked past the Turkish barber shop, and they were trying to get me in, but I was looking through the window, and I needed a haircut, by the way. Yeah, but I was looking through the window, and I didn't feel confident just looking at the haircuts that were going on. I thought, because what I thought that in my, a mad idea, I had my camera with me, and I thought, I wonder if I could do like a little special for the YouTube channel, or do like a travel vlog, go to another barber shop, get my haircut, and talk about it and talk to the barbers. And then that idea quickly vanished when I had a look through the window. I thought, these guys are the best. By the way, I have a friend who's a Turkish barber, and he's a really, really good barber. Like, he's top notch. And he was telling me, like, the majority, like in Turkey, the standard is extremely high.
Yeah.
It has been for a long, long time. But I think what's happened is, because they had that reputation in Turkey of being so good, and I think it's regulated there as well.
Okay.
But you're able to come to the UK without regulation, and you can just say, I'm a Turkish barber. You could be from Morocco or someone else, and just put Turkish barber above the door. Nobody knows, and you're kind of using that, what used to be like a high standard, great reputation, and just riding the wave, I suppose. There's no regulation here, as you probably know. It's a pity it's not like America. There should be some kind of regulation.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
At the very minimum, there should be some kind of health and safety regulation, I think.
Yeah.
Because, you're working with metal on skin.
Yeah.
And at the very least, there should be some kind of skills test to test that you are able to keep your tools clean and maintain hygiene, I think, at the very minimum. And then, if you're not a very good if you're not good, or the clients will just decide themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Going back there, but at the very minimum, just simple safety, keeping it clean. That regulation I'd be happy with, I think. Also, I mean, it's not a very level playing field as well. One of the shops I had a lot of people, and I wasn't there, and I had, so I wanted to introduce a card machine. I didn't, I've had, and this hasn't happened a lot, thankfully, in my career, but over the years, I've had a couple of people stealing out of the till.
Really?
yeah, and over 20 years, you're going to get a couple of
Yeah.
bad apples, but I because of that, I then wanted a card machine
Mm-hmm.
because and I was trying to have everything go through as a digital transaction, and
Yeah.
I had a camera in the shop, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, there is no cash getting squirreled away
Uh-huh.
like some barbershops do, and they have a reputation for it. So um, and in the lead up to this election, a few ministers were coming
Yeah.
out and saying things like that. So I think it's very helpful for the industry, but to be honest, there is a bit of truth in it. There is a bit of squirreling away of cash,
Yeah.
and um, unfortunately, if you're declaring everything the way I do and the way I do it now, I literally don't take cash. It's just everything's digital because it's hooked up to my bank account and my accountant,
Mm-hmm.
and that way I never have to. Everything's automated. I don't need to do any paperwork. It's all digital. It saves me a lot of time, and saving time is the main thing. But I know places that say it's cash only, and it's not a fair playing field that because
No.
I have to add the tax on top so that
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
and folk will say I have been torn apart in the local area for being expensive. Someone will say, why is that place such a rip-off? Well, it's a rip-off because there's tax on top,
Yeah.
whereas other places maybe don't. That's my feeling on it anyway.
No, I think it's I'd have a different perspective, not a different perspective, but a different view. I think because there does seem to be a lot of even when people come in the chairs, about have you seen how many barbershops have popped up, and there's 6 lovely chairs in there, one barber sitting on his phone, and I think people are starting to see it for what that there could be nefarious, things
There'd be a bit of
going on
money
in those
laundering,
places.
money laundering potentially.
And I had a guy, I think it was yesterday, or it may even have been today. I was just chatting with him outside after his cut, and he said, "Yeah, if you didn't take card, if you were cash only, I wouldn't have come in. I only
really?
go to barbers that take cash because it's legitimate, and there's all balances and checks and balances are being done and adhered to, and I think that gives a bit of confidence to the public."
Well, I mean, it certainly shows. I think it certainly shows a higher level of professionalism if you're able to offer your clients multiple ways to pay. Because that's convenient for them. They come in. Like, most people are just carrying cards on their phone now, and they want to pay on their card or their phone. So offering that, I think, is just the way to go. I mean, like I said, I do take cash, but nobody brings it. No one ever brings it.
Before I was a barber and was getting a couple of tips, I never had cash in my pocket. Now I'm walking around like I've got a sock full of pennies. Well, the other day, because I'm still very much at the stage of friends and family giving me an opportunity to practice on, so I'll do free haircuts for them. And somebody gave me a box of veg the other day. Happy days. Out of their allotment. I said, here's some spring onions and some beans. Well, that's a fair trade, I'd say.
That's pretty good. A bit of bartering.
Exactly. Barbering.
I've had a couple of things like that before. I had a fish. I was given a fish. I used to live in Arbroath, which is a fishing town. And the barber shop was near the harbour, so fish was quite a common thing to barter down there. So it's quite good. You get your tea.
When you're a starving barber, perfect solution.
I know. Well, that place, the first place I worked, it was £4.50 for a haircut.
Wow.
That was in the turn of the century.
Don't say it like that.
I know.
You're the first person I've heard ever say that, and it's true but horrible.
I know. It doesn't sound good when you say back at the turn of the century. But I had an Arbroath smoky from it's like a local smoked fish handed in for that. So
delicious.
Anyway, Anthony, Kelly's coming on to the podcast very shortly as well. So I'm going to ask you the 60-second interview, if that's all right.
Could I just give a quick shout out to my guys at the barbers I work with?
Yeah,
because they'll listen to this and it'll be lovely. And they've been so good to me. They've been helpful and friendly. So it's Soren, Liz, Lynn, and Cassie, and Rob, the owners. Thank you guys so much. You've been amazing.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you for helping Anthony out as well. You're showing him the way.
Yeah.
So good on you. Right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. Right. 10 quick fire questions. Anthony, number 1. What's your favourite hobby or pastime?
Barbering.
Good answer. Do you prefer tea or coffee?
Green tea. I can't cut hair after coffee.
Okay. What's the best vacation you've ever been on?
Bath city centre. Long weekend.
Did you go to the spa?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Good.
The top pool, the open top pool. It's amazing.
Nice. If you could have dinner with anyone famous, who would it be?
Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I like Clarkson. I never used to, but I like him now. What's your go-to comfort food?
Bacon sandwich.
Bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
What's a book or movie that's greatly influenced you?
Don't mess with the Zohan. It's turmoil, there's love, there's a guy trying to find his direction in life.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Okay. Oh, I hope you're not treating your clients like Zohan.
Yeah, lots of hummus.
Yeah. Okay. Are you a morning or night owl? Morning person or a night owl?
I'm a night owl, but
Night owl.
I have to get up in the mornings now.
What's the one thing on your bucket list?
Scuba dive. Yeah, terrifies me. So scuba dive.
Oh, you've got to do it. I have my paddy license.
Really?
I highly recommend it. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any pets?
No, but I love dogs. Absolutely adore dogs.
Love dogs. And last one. What's a fun fact about you that not many people know?
That my dad was a musician, and in the late 60s was in a group called Blue Mink, and they had numerous top 10 hits in the UK.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Very good. They probably bumped into people like the Beatles a lot. And
yeah. They worked with Elton John in Elton John's last biography. He mentions the group and
cool.
and stuff. So
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
cool. I'll say you asked if not many people know, but I pretty much tell everybody. No, I don't.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, it's honestly such a pleasure. I'm glad you came on, and I'll post this to the group probably tomorrow.
Fantastic.
And until then, thank you so much.
No, thank you for everything that you've done, Michael. It really is.
Well, there's more to come. There's loads more to come. So
brilliant.
Stay tuned. Right, thanks a lot. We'll catch you later.
Take care, buddy. Bye.
Cheers.